Dickosaurus Podcast.
Okay. Hello. Welcome back to the Thickosaurus Podcast. This is your host, Anna.
Michelle.
Molly.
And Melissa.
And for today's topic, obviously, it's my topic today. And it's going to kind of follow the previous episodes where it's a little bit dark and controversial. And a lot of trigger warnings, like SA warning, triggers, domestic violence, and all of that. All of the warnings that you could ever, trigger warnings that you can ever see. So be prepared. And if me mentioning these right now already trigger you, don't watch it or listen to this video. This is your warning now because it is going to get pretty graphic and dark. Are you
Viewer
ladies
discretion
ready?
is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Anyway.
That's a different sound.
Special victim.
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it.
You ladies ready? It's going to
Yes.
get pretty dark, but it's the truth.
Got it.
So, the story that I wanted to talk about, first off, me thinking about this whole research process, at first I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to talk about a case that is well known in the Hmong community. And by the way, I do mention the people that I talk about in this case, if I don't mean any disrespect, this is more of to bring an awareness, because like we've talked about in previous episodes, we want to be those that uplift and help our community. So, and that means having these hard conversations. So this is no disrespect to that family, the victims that and their families. So this case, I will be changing the names just for confidentiality. But when I talk about the details of this case, you'll probably know what it is if you are in the Hmong community, or probably not. So again, this is just to kind of talk about this case to bring awareness to our Hmong community, like mental health and about domestic violence, and what we can do to help so that way situations like this, if possible, can be prevented or help support the person that's going through whatever that they may be having difficulties with. So this particular case happened in a community where there's where a big population of Hmong people live in. And it happened in the year of 1998. And so this case that I'm reading off of, someone already wrote a little bit about it, and I love the way that they wrote it, so I'm just kind of like piggybacking on it. So and it all started with a 911 call reporting that this person, let's call her
Pam, if you remember.
Yes. Thanks. We'll call her Pam. It's the 1998 case of Pam, who made a 911 phone call reporting that she had killed her 6 children. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and if you guys want to, you can like interrupt or stop in, okay? So police officers and paramedics rushed to the apartment where Pam lived. So apparently Pam had lived there with her children, and it was a lower housing area.
Oh, okay.
So it's like public housing, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So they they rushed to that house on the night of September 3rd, and they found the bodies of 3 girls and 3 boys ages 5 to 11 scattered throughout the apartment. And it's I believe there's multiple levels in the apartment, so it's probably like a 2-story apartment. The mother, Pam, was lying inside the doorway wearing a fancy red dress, and the body of one of the children was behind her, still warm to the touch.
Oh my
Pam was put into custody at a local hospital, and the medical examiner's office said that the children had been strangled. In the call to 911, Pam had spoken about suicide, but it was unclear whether she had harmed herself. Later in a court testimony, Pam pleaded guilty to 6 counts of intentional second-degree murder for the killing of her children. Now, Pam's attorney believed that, they keep mentioning, Pam's attorney believes that she was suffering from mental illness at the time. And he stated she didn't think anything was wrong of what she did that day to her children. In Pam's mind, she did it out of love for her 6 children. She had already decided that she was going to take her own life and was concerned about who was going to take care for them. And a lot of people in the community was like, how can a woman kill her children, right? Her own children. Everybody was shocked back then, 1998. So they were kind of just like, what the heck is going on, you know? And then, so according to another article on the Washington Post, when they did some investigating, they said that Pam's family, people kind of already knew that Pam's and her family was kind of struggling with a lot of stuff already, and that people already knew. So it wasn't like a secret. People already knew that Pam was going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So to kind of understand the case a little bit better, this article talks a little bit about Pam's upbringing. So when Pam was a child, she was raped at the age of 12 in the refugee camps, and she eventually married her husband, who we'll name Bob. And Bob, so Pam was 12 and Bob was 13. And Bob was, wait, hold on. Doesn't make sense.
She was married at 13.
Oh, Pam was married at 13, and Bob was 5 years older than her.
I was gonna be like, who was she essayed by?
They didn't explain that. When I did the research, they didn't explain that. They just said that to kind of understand why would Pam kill her own children and all that, they were trying to figure out. Yeah, they were trying to figure out, okay, let's go back and look at her history.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Bob was 5 years older than Pam when they got married, and she was only 13. They had an arranged marriage in a refugee camp in Thailand, which is not uncommon for us to hear. And they started having children right away that year in 1987. One after another, they had 6 in total. And they relocated to this city that has a lot of Hmong people that live in it, where it seemed like they were a happy family. But neighbors reported seeing both Bob and Pam walking through. Yeah, so they would think that everything was good because they see Bob and Pam holding hands throughout the neighborhood and everything, right? So they're thinking, oh, like it's a happy family. However, the marriage started to deteriorate. The family was suffering financially and had faced eviction from their 2-story house, where everything went down. Fights became frequent and public and very violent and spilling into the streets. And the police had been called to the apartment at least 15 times in the last 18 months for domestic turbulence prior to the tragedy on that night. So kind of like a lot of cases in the past where law enforcement was aware of what was going on. So, and to put into perspective of how extreme these fights were, in April of the year before, police said that Pam pointed a shotgun at her husband, Bob, during an argument. And over what exactly, I'm not sure, but she only dropped the weapon after a family friend begged her to do so.
Wow.
So it was
You know, Bob was doing something.
Either something or she was complaining that she does all the work in the house or something.
Well, that makes me wonder if, because you know, like in the Hmong community, it happens a lot where if you spend longer with this the person of the opposite sex, you are forced to marry. And I'm wondering, like, this is just a question: did Pam get assaulted by Bob, and then they thought that it was consensual, and then they forced him to marry? You know, like we don't know those kinds of things. There's just a lot of what ifs, really.
Yeah.
So that would be an example of how violent everything got. And then in July of 89, according to the police and neighbors, Pam stole her husband's immigration permit and social security card and left for Detroit with a boyfriend. And then a month later, Pam returned and successfully petitioned the court for a protective custody order against her husband. Now, despite the violent episodes, child welfare officials never received a report that the children were in any danger. Through an interpreter, Bob told the local paper that he moved out of the family's home and had taken up with a girlfriend, and that the couple was in the process of getting a divorce.
Okay.
As for the children, they became known to the local law enforcement, especially the older child who became a spokesperson for the rest of the children. Neighbors noted that the children hardly ever left the apartment to play, and when they did, they looked dirty and uncared for. That tragic day in September, they were doing just that when their mother called them. She called them one by one, from oldest to youngest, ages 11 through 6, or ages as young as 11 and 5. And as each child came to her side, she strangled them with a piece of black cloth.
Wow.
It's very heavy. And this isn't the whole story. So then Pam tied an electrical cord around her neck to a light fixture, and she was on the second floor of her home. She walked out of her balcony and jumped off. The strangulation caused her to become unconscious. At some point, the light fixture broke off, and that threw her body to the ground. She regained consciousness and realized that she was on the ground with a broken back, and she didn't know how to make a second attempt at taking her life. She didn't have a gun. She didn't have poison, and she was not physically able to make the same strangulation move because of her injuries. That's when Pam made the 911 call, and she said, "I killed the kids. I don't know why I killed the kids." So Pam's case sparked conversation within her community, the Hmong community, about domestic violence and mental health issues. And a family member, I think, visited with Pam later, because this article I'm reading from is from like 2021, so it's a little bit older. But the family member went to go and talk to her in prison, and said that Pam felt alone and powerless in her marriage when she read a statement from Pam. So this is the statement from Pam. She did say she loved her children, and she wished she had the help that she needed to be a good mother. She wished that more people would have been more aware of the mental health issues that she was going through. And then just like, this is, like I said, this is from 2021, but they talk about how, for Pam's case, she was a victim of domestic and cultural violence, and she was in a culture that accepted teen, early childhood marriages and then having children. And she was so young to have all of that responsibility, so she was a victim. And Pam took a plea bargain for a 50-year sentence, and she will be eligible for release in 11 years when she is 58 years old. So that's basically the gist of her situation.
Oh, that poor
It's pretty
woman.
heavy. So that's like a, because at first when I did the research, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, a little part of me, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't want to shake up anything, right? But at the same time, I'm like, wait, we need to talk about stuff like this because, again, like towards the end of the article, they talk about how, because the person that was talking about it was someone that works in a organization that helps with Hmong people in domestic violence, and they said that yeah, she was a victim of domestic violence and cultural violence.
Well, yeah, because yes, because she was only what 12, 13
Yeah.
when she got married.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no child is developmentally ready to take on birthing babies and taking care of babies.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not ideal, and it's not right for a little body like that to be going through.
And in the article, Pam had to give birth to six kids back to back.
So that's 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
every year.
one every
One
year.
every 9 months.
Yeah, so basically, once
she
the
was-
doctor gave her
The okay.
the okay after 6 weeks, boom.
And it's not a topic. Mental health is already a topic that we don't really talk about in our community. But I can't imagine, she must have been going through postpartum depression. She didn't even get to really, she probably just kind of disassociated the whole time.
Oh, yeah, she was basically breeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't heal. Not only do you need time to heal physically, you need time to heal mentally, emotionally as well. And she obviously did not get that.
I mean, I get it. What she did was wrong. But also, I feel like there's so many layers to it that her committing the murder, of her children, like just doing that act, yeah, she's guilty of it. But it's kind of like those things where there's a lot of things that led to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not just like a one thing.
Okay. Well, this is just my theory
Yeah.
of why she killed her children.
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes back to when she was sexually assaulted in the refugee camp.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she was left alone there, if her parents were there or whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe the fact and knowing that she'll be by herself after the divorce, that maybe she felt like she probably couldn't protect all the kids.
Yeah.
Or if she did just only commit suicide on her own, that would leave her children vulnerable for that to happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to save them and herself from that thinking, she probably just felt like she needed to take them with her. You know?
And we don't even know who the person who essayed her either. It could
We
have
don't.
could have been a relative. It could have been one of the
Could've-
soldiers. It could.
That's
have
what I'm saying. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that probably had a thought in it too. So I was just like, maybe it was someone so close, so that's why she didn't want those kids to be by themselves.
Probably. I don't know. But as I was reading up on this, I did see some people, because it's on social media, it's reshared, and some people from the community are like, mental health is just an excuse. Those kids didn't deserve it, and she just went to run off with her boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, the act is wrong. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the really real fact as well is that she was going through shit. She was going through a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's 6 kids, all under the age of 12.
Yeah.
You know, and people who comment that, you have no idea what the situation is. You have no idea how she felt. You have no idea how people would feel in that situation. So it's for people to say that it's just an excuse. It's like, You don't know.
I'm pretty sure being a mom,
Yes.
nobody understands it until you actually be a mom. And the expectations a mom have to follow or like of a mom is freaking crazy high. Like, you should be able to do all this and also be able to make yourself look presentable.
I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that she left and that environment with that boyfriend, and then the fact that when she came back was when she decided to legally get that situated ish.
Yeah.
It was just where she was finally away from that toxic environment,
Well,
which is not like toxic, but like she was away from that thing.
Abusive.
Yeah,
I'm
that
pretty
trauma
sure.
that she
Yeah.
was basically cooped up in.
it's not uncommon also to hear that the way that they raise us Hmong daughters, like especially like from the shaman side, you are only cattle. You are there to breed children. You don't have a voice, and you are also the sole caretaker of everything. Like, you have to you have the burden of carrying everything else while your significant other brings in the financial side. Like, you are insignificant, basically.
And like on top of that, if your husband messes up, you're the reason.
Oh yeah, it's always
Yeah.
the reason, you
Yeah.
know?
It's not his fault.
Like-
It's your fault.
Yep. It's always the woman's fault.
It's
Yeah.
always her fault.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine that after dealing with all of the BS from being the wife of and you guys got married when you were children, like, I'm pretty sure, like, there's only so much a human being can take until they snap.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I don't get people who say that mental illness is just an excuse, and it's kind of like, well, how do you
Yeah.
explain to people who go insane
Yeah.
because of all that?
Yeah.
You know, you guys always. I mean, people always see people who act insane or crazy, and they would say, "Ooh, that guy's psycho. Ooh, that girl is insane, or whatever, crazy, right?" So if you claim that, then why don't you believe that mental illness is real?
Yeah.
Because being crazy and insane is a mental thing. So
It's like they see it in the professional mental health field that it's a disease.
it's a disease that needs curing.
Yeah. Or treatment. You know?
Treatment. Yeah, that's the word. Sorry. Treatment.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, putting myself in her shoes.
Yeah.
At the age of 13,
Mm-hmm.
you guys have to realize that she's never had a childhood.
Yeah.
So from whenever she was a baby to up to 13, I'm pretty sure it was nothing but war
Yeah.
that broke out. And then at the age of 13, you get married and then you have kids. So it's like you never really be a kid. You never get to know who you are. You never get to know any of that. You're just told to boom, 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 boom. And then you get into the cycle of, who am I? What am I?
It's insanity
Mm-hmm.
because it's over doing the same thing over and over again. That, like, kind of like what you were saying in the previous episode about drinking your own poison. It's kind of like that. Like, you just. She's probably just kind of like, well, I'll just feed myself my own poison because that's the only way that I know.
Yeah, and plus, like she said, that she kind of grew up in that war stuff. I'm pretty sure she's
The
still
refugee
stuck in
camp.
survival mode. Where
Yeah.
if I go, then they should go too, because there's no one that will be able to.
And that
Take care of
explains
them.
about
Take
it
care of
because
them.
if you understand her background, then you kind of understand her reasoning, or at least you can kind of see why she thought that way was the only way out was to take the lives of her own children. And that's something that, you know, on another podcast, like, if I had a lot of money and I would totally do research, I would love to do some type of research on the parents or the ones that had their childhood during the whole war, and none of them are talking about it. And all of that PTSD is passing down, you know, to everybody else. And the way that Pam dealt with it is she just kind of like, oh, it's the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer there.
Yeah.
That poor girl. Yeah, she had nobody. You know, that's another thing. She was literally by herself. She had nobody. She had no support. It's like you're literally isolated from the world, and you don't expect someone to go crazy because of that.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, she felt, I'm pretty, for me, I would say that how sad it is that she feels like that was the only way out and that there was no support to help her, like, oh, hey, you know, it's okay if you leave this situation, or, you know, it's okay if you do this. Because reading the article, remember, Bob left,
Yeah.
yeah,
which is not uncommon, too, where, like, the Hmong men are like, F you, forget it, I'm done. Bye. And now all the responsibility falls
to her.
onto her.
Were they legally married?
Most of the times they are not.
Because I know he said, Bob said something about divorce. That's why I was just like, are they even legally married?
I don't know. So
That could also be mean like divorce within like
The
The
Hmong
community.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, were they even, like, legally married?
I don't know, because it's actually, because at that time in the 90s, I want to say no,
Yeah, I would say no.
because
'Cause
not
not
a
many
lot of
couples
people
were,
were legally
yeah.
married, but now they do because of health insurance. You
Yeah.
gotta be legally married to be able to get their health insurance. But like in the 90s, I want to say that they weren't legally married.
Okay, because I was just like hearing you get that divorce thing, and I was just like, I don't think they were even like legally married for that. But
No, but
For
back
them to
then they
well, I
had
meant,
that
like-
civil thing.
well, yeah, but I meant like when
Yeah.
he was saying that to the police people that they were getting divorced,
Oh.
but when they're not really
Yeah.
legally married. But anyway, yeah, that didn't really.
Yeah, I
That's
just
not big of an issue, but
it's like a really heartbreaking just to read it, because like I said, it was heavy while reading it, and you think, damn, that's a lot.
It is a lot because
Yeah.
it's like you go from war to being essayed to being married to birthing out 6 kids
one by one.
one by one,
Yeah.
and then not knowing anything but to cook, clean, and take care of the kids, and then the person who's supposed to take care of you
Left.
leaves,
it's
and
not
then
even
now
taking
you're
care of
like,
it, yeah.
oh my god, I don't know how to work because I've never had a job before.
Yeah.
So therefore, what do I do? Oh my god, that's a lot.
Yeah, she probably went to like panic mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, panic mode and trauma and stuff like that. So she felt like she had nothing else.
And now that I'm remembering back what I read, the part where she was the lowest in her life, where they were being evicted, they're struggling financially. He left.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
He was not right to die. He was like, forget you, I'm gonna go somewhere else. But I don't know what other marital issues they had, but
But
Just-
still, that says a lot.
it does. It's sad.
For her to pull out a shotgun on him, that says a
That
lot.
says a lot, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that us Hmong women have the patience? That's why you can see her pull it out, because something
Big
big
happened.
happened.
Mhm. Like she had it. She was done.
I think so too. I feel like us Hmong women, we are just kind of like, like we just have to take it all the time. So I guess I can see why you're saying that she.
Yeah. Like I said,
enough.
I've told you guys before, like with me and my dad, when me and my dad would argue all the time,
Yeah.
I felt that click before
Yeah.
where I was like, oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can see why people do it. And then after they do it, they're like, I don't know what happened,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so I was just kind of like, oh, I see it.
I talked to some of my Hmong friends, and they said that, like, after they hear about, I think it was it 2022 or 2021 when they had all of those murder suicides that happened like within months of each other.
Yeah, it was 2022,
Yeah, it was
2021. Yeah.
And I was talking to my friends, and they were like, one of them is like a single mom, and she was like, yeah, I can see why they did that, because I'm struggling so much as a single mom, and I could see myself do that. I can, because I'm struggling so much and I just want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I think most people say too, like, women, they have a lot of patience because those thoughts, like,
Linger.
they linger. Like if a boyfriend or girlfriend have issues, the boyfriend would not be aware of anything,
Oh yeah. Of
while
course.
the girlfriend will be the one manifesting everything. And then once she decides that
Enough
she
is
can't have
enough.
it anymore, then that's when she decides to let everything out. And so that's kind of falls
Yeah.
into that. I'm pretty sure she had all that pinto, and she just finally just let it go.
Because that reminds me of another story
Mm-hmm.
that I watch on like Discovery Channel, and like I think the TV show is like it talks about like murder in the house, or the murder is my relative or whatever, and so it talks about
Yeah.
stories about that.
Mm.
And one of them was a son whose mom had a mental illness problem too, and she tried to do that to everybody. She
Tried
tried to kill everybody
Oh.
in the
gosh.
house.
Oh my god.
One day she just couldn't deal with it anymore, and she
She snapped.
she snapped, and she killed her husband on the bed. And then I guess she like miscalculated something, and her older son who's telling the story comes in, and he sees, and he's freaking out.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to run out of the house, and so the mom shoots at him but like grazes his arm.
Yeah.
And then he was able to hide his brother in the house
Oh my god.
and have the mom like
Chase
come
him.
after him.
Mm-hmm.
So he ran outside, and then he's like banging on the neighbor's door saying like, she shot me kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the mom decides to not go outside, and then she goes back inside. And I think that's when it finally clicks in that like, I can't believe I tried killing my family. And then I guess she shot so many bullets to where she didn't have any more left in the gun. And so she kind of just laid next to her husband and kind of just like cried and cried until the police came, kind of thing.
It's like really sad because that's what Mike and I talk about all the time. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't have any children, and you do, but I think that a lot of straight cis couples, where it's a man and a woman, the wives, they deal with a lot of stuff. They do a lot of like mental work, like as you're sitting, like as I'm sitting here, I'm already thinking, oh, I gotta do my laundry, I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and it's just like girls are just required.
Constantly.
Yeah, they're constantly doing something, constantly thinking about what to do next. And that domestic labor is the uneven way that it's distributed, where the woman or the wife is doing majority of it. That's what literally kills them. That's probably why we have such a high rate of stress and heart attack and mental health. I cannot imagine when she realized that, with the story that you're talking about. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think people miscalculate on how much women can handle.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Because us women, we have a higher tolerance for pain, so we handle things pretty well. We're very quiet about it. We let things simmer because you have other shit to do. So yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how patient we are, and then they just get so surprised when we finally snap and like end up doing things like killing our family and stuff like that. And they would never understand why. And it's kind of like, for that to happen, you need to understand that has been manifesting for like years before us
Boiling
women
up.
before us women finally snap and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because like, you men are weak. I'm just saying. Yeah, cause you know, any type of like inconvenience to you guys like break down. You know. So, but for us women, from my experience, from what I've seen, we take a lot.
We're just kind of we're being forced to kind of like learn how to balance it versus where like to talk from the guy's perspective from what little I know is that they have to kind of like ignore it and take like the manly duties of taking care of the house, you know, like financially, but everything else like like emotional wise that can just be pushed to the side. Yeah. And then for us girls, like we're taught from when we're so young, like, all right, this is what you got to do. Take care of the house. Figure it out.
Your feelings don't matter because you gotta take care of everybody else.
Yep.
It don't matter
You
how
gotta figure
tired
it out.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and it definitely is a lot harder when you have kids because it's like us women in general, whether single, married, and having kids, it doesn't matter. Women, we how do I put it? We do a lot of behind the scenes work, you know, because we're constantly thinking about other people besides ourselves.
Because the mental, like what I was saying, the mental domestic, what I say, labor.
Yes.
Because like, scenario would be the wife is sitting there. She's not doing anything, but she's running through her list. Okay, I got to do this. I got to get the kids ready. I got to have dinner ready. Okay, well, but then I have to do this for the kids for tomorrow. And like, that will literally kill us. That whole mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. My mind is constantly running.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, because I'm always afraid like I would forget something for one of my kids for school, and I don't want to be that parent who forgets about something, and then my child feels like left out or something.
Yeah.
You know, because that's happened once on a field trip where I had forgotten to pack Liam a lunch
Oh, no.
paper,
Aw.
for his field trip because I totally did not even remember it.
Aw.
And he had called me from school like really early in the morning when he was there to try to get me to bring him a lunch, and if I
Yeah.
didn't, the school will provide him one.
Yeah.
But I was knocked out. I was sleeping, so I missed like 2 calls from him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because of that. And when I listened to the voicemail, I was like, fuck, I forgot. Like, totally forgot.
There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. That's what I'm saying.
So, yes, you know, women, we go through a lot. Our minds never stop. And like Anna said, that's why we have heart attacks and stuff like that.
No, and we don't know that. We're having heart attacks.
High anxiety, like me. I got high anxiety.
But like just me with Walgreens of them not getting my prescription right it already gives me high anxiety.
This is, yeah, like I said, back to the story. I just cannot imagine Pam going through that and then just like thinking this is the
And, like,
only way out.
And like she did it by strangling them. So
It's
she
gotta be
had
hard.
to
She had to see them.
see them suffer and sit there and you
Yeah.
know
And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when she's doing it, she's
Crying.
crying, her eyes out.
either crying or she's literally disassociated to
Yeah.
where she felt nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's literally, like I said, like, because she has to sit there with all her might,
Yeah.
pulling on the rope, the cord,
The cloth.
or the
Yeah,
cloth.
the black cloth.
It's,
know?
it's like that one case where the daughter shot, I think her I don't know if it's her dad or her stepdad, multiple times with I think a shotgun, and she didn't remember anything.
Oh,
She didn't remember how many shots she took. She blacked out that whole time.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah,
then
see?
they told her how many times she shot him because of all that, I guess, anger and frustration she had against him. So-
Again, she snapped.
yeah, so she snapped and she doesn't remember how she did it and how many times she shot.
Again, this is why mental health is so important, and it shouldn't be underestimated as a whole. Like, just gonna sit there and talk about my feelings and talk about like what happened to me in my childhood. Yeah, because it's all connecting. Okay.
Yes.
What you don't get to do in your past will end up catching up with you.
Sorry, I coughed on her.
I heard
It's all right. She
Yeah.
sneezed on me before, and I felt it, and it got in my mouth too. So, yeah.
Y'all
Nasty
basically kissed.
I know. It's disgusting. It's actually kissed
With
her
no
snot.
contact.
I know. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, mental health is so important. I found this. I forgot what it's called, but there are organizations out there. I don't remember which one it is, but I found one that is it's a Hmong organization, and they do workshops, and they do have one where it's called like Ziyo something, and it's a workshop for men that were the perpetrators, and kind of like re-educating them and reteaching them.
Oh.
And I'm like, we need more stuff like that.
Mm.
It's a really whole cultural reset thing we gotta do.
Yeah. Is that class like? Are they like court ordered to do it, or they
I don't
choose
know.
to do it?
I don't know. I just read up
Okay.
on it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And that they didn't let me click on more information. It just showed that that's what they did. But I would
okay.
imagine some of it's probably court ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Depending on I'm pretty sure how bad it ended up,
Yeah.
their cases.
Yeah. I just can't imagine, because, sorry, just going back to the whole like strangling thing,
Yeah.
because it's like she had to do it. I'm putting myself
She's
in
doing
her
it. She
mind.
did it one by one.
She did it one by one, and she had to be smart enough to do it in like different parts of the room. Otherwise, that kid is gonna see
And run
And
away.
run
and
off.
run.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. She had to strangle them
Yeah.
and then make sure that the other kids didn't see the other bodies in the room.
And then the fact that she did them in order too,
Yeah.
and then the last one was her youngest.
Yeah, and I'm like,
That's pretty harsh.
what her brain was going through at that time.
Yeah.
Like I said, she probably disassociated.
It was a
Yeah.
lot of
It was
stress. Like I
just-
said, she's facing eviction,
Yeah.
and she also feels like she probably did get robbed of everything, and she thought, this is all I have.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine doing that. But like I said, she must have felt so trapped.
Yeah. I can't imagine that, and I have kids.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine like the hurt, the isolated feelings, and the helplessness.
They don't really even talk about her having a support system, her family.
No,
Yeah.
she was there by
I don't
herself.
know.
Like I said, she's isolated from everybody.
Man.
So, yeah, I cannot imagine.
Ways that our Hmong community can help is to have those support systems, like the Hmong organization that I was talking about, where they have like a safe haven for, people that are trying to escape their domestic violence situations, and also to continue having conversations about this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I think in our community, we need to find a way how to respectfully stand up to the elders and be like, this is not okay, because like the whole Ocean Day and stuff, it's not okay. And like keep turning your daughters away, because that will kill them one day.
It's like, I get it. She's no longer yours because she's been married off
Oh yeah.
already. I get it because it's the husband's problem. But it's kind of like, think about it. She was your baby first. She's still your daughter. So it's kind of like, wouldn't you want to save your daughter from that? Or your son from that?
That's like kind of like going back to the article. She was also a victim of cultural violence. So I think it was just more of like, that's expected of her to just kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But,
Yeah.
again, being a parent, it's kind of like, do you not have that parental what is the word?
Mindset.
No, not mindset. It's kind of like the parental.
It's just parental like empathy, you know, like
Intuition.
that's your baby.
Yeah.
No matter how old you are, that's my baby.
I like to always play devil's advocate,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking that those parents also experienced
Yeah.
Yeah.
the horrors of the war too. So everybody is not addressing, like I said, the elephant in the room, and where they need to go and get professional help because literally they could have died. Like they literally survived a war. Generations and generations of our Hmong elders survived the war. And yeah, a lot of the crap that they say don't make sense and they're crazy. But that's because of all of the BS that they saw. And they literally saw their loved ones die right at the foot, right in front of them, and all of that.
I mean, did it also say that if she had any siblings?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's
I
nothing.
didn't say anything,
nothing
but it
info.
said that like in 2021, from when this article came up from, they were talking about how one of the so I don't know whose family members, but a family relative went to go visit her in prison, and she did say that she did love them, which I have no reasonable doubt that she didn't. I'm pretty sure that
Oh,
she
yeah.
did. It was just
At that time, that's
probably
all
felt
she
like
knew.
that's all that she could do.
That was the biggest act of love she can do for them.
Is to
is
not
to
let
kill
them.
them.
Yeah, so they don't suffer.
Yeah. Ooh, it's crazy.
Again, it comes back to the whole "will you die for me" thing
Yeah.
that we talked about last time.
Will you die for me?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
It's just hard. I can't imagine.
So, I know this case was pretty heavy to talk about, but like I said, we need to have conversations like this. We need to continue doing this, and then also building support systems. Like, you know, we are far away. We're from we're online. So, but if you feel like you are in a situation and you need help, there's support out there. There's way for you to covertly get help if you feel like you're being watched. There's a lot of ways that people can get help in domestic violence situations, and it's very like secretive. I don't know if you've ever seen a website like that before.
I don't think so.
They build websites where like they'll have a little thing and it'll say like it'll look like it's just a regular website of like random stuff, but it really is the domestic violence website. So there's ways they have like a button to exit it really quick out too, just in case, because you know that's gonna start something.
Right.
So, but there's a way they can go get help, and then also a way to exit out really quickly if they need to get out too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like with bartenders. If you tell them like you want like an angel shot or
Yeah.
something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then that's usually code for help me.
Yeah, so there's ways to figure out around it, you know, and yeah, there's support. There really is support out there, and we need to help each other out. But if you feel like you're going through something, and like I said, domestic violence situation, or if you feel like nobody is supporting you, don't be afraid to go to those Mika supports system. Domestic violence and everything. People, yes, they'll call you all sorts of names and everything, but if you really are struggling with something mental health wise, and you think that you may do harm to yourself or to others, it's better to just go get help.
Yes.
Go get
Please,
help.
please do.
Really is, and nobody is going to shame you for it. If anything, you know, it's good that you're gonna get help. And if those OGs say something, think about it. They don't get help themselves, so
Yeah. They got their own issues.
they have their own issues.
That they still bicker about it to this day.
Like when you think about it, like historically, Hmong people have always been pushed around.
Oh, yeah.
Always been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Have always been in some type of like tragic war or whatever. So of course that's all gonna bleed down to where
Yeah.
we are now.
Yeah.
You know.
It's in whatever trauma that they experience, it's in our DNA now. From generations and generations before us, it's in our
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah. Those of you guys don't know, you know, the Hmong history, China. We got, you know, originally from China. We got
We're indigenous to China,
Yeah.
and
we got war out there, and then we got pushed out of China down to Laos and Thailand.
and nobody likes us there. 'Cause
Nobody
we're,
likes us
We're
there?
dirty jungle
Yeah.
people.
Thai people don't like us.
Yeah.
Laotian people don't like us.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all just trauma passed on.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, this topic was very heavy, but we do need to talk about it, and let's help each other out so we don't get into a situation like Pam did. But yeah, this would be it for the episode here. Yes.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
on a lighter note,
Oh yeah.
for those in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Happy Hmong New Year.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
On a lighter note,
Oh yeah. Happy Hmong New Year! And if you do see
Yeah.
something going down, help each other out.
yeah,
Say something.
Say something, but Happy New
Especially,
Year. You know
the
how to say it in
parties
Hmong?
coming up.
yeah, them parties coming up, huh?
I say you know how to say it in Hmong?
That's not what it is, but
荣谢 New You for all of you guys.
That or say no picture.
Not big John.
Yes.
Yu is happy birthday.
Oh, that is right. Oh.
see, I would not know any of that.
I think they say like I think they say 荣谢 no or chia, yeah, something. No picture or something like that.
She just confidently said, "Happy
Happy
birthday."
birthday.
It's okay. We Hmong American, so
Yeah.
Hey, we're still learning
Sorry.
and we're still trying to practice our native tongue.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. So on a happier note, happy Hmong New Year, and let's continue supporting each other, guys. So, but thank you for listening to this conversation that we had, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.